At Vibra Finance, we seek out the hidden gems in cryptocurrency. We will tailor your portfolio to work for you. Are you ready to transition your investments from traditional markets to cryptocurrency? Are your coins staked and earning interest? Are you overwhelmed with all the jargon in crypto? Is your portfolio underperforming and you want to reposition into consistent winning blue chip coins and viable projects? Do you feel like you missed out on DeFi, Metaverse, and NFTs? Here at Vibra Finance, we provide you with the data, skills, and tools you need to stay on top of the digital asset market. Vibra Finance. We are the future of crypto.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Vibra Live. Have been on vacation last week. Came down with some gnarly food poisoning or some kind of stomach bug Monday night. So finally back. Had a lot of time to reflect, sit back, look at the markets from kind of a different view than being in front of it every single day, and really have been starting to see through FUD a lot more and really have confidence in where we're going, where this is all going. All the mainstream media, it's all just FUD everywhere. And I want to clear some of that up, kind of talk about some of the headlines over the last week. So let's get into it. If you're not following us, follow us on Twitter at Vibra Finance. What's up, Mobius? Hope you're doing well, my man. Checking out the markets. Bitcoin, we had CPI coming in. I think it was 5% roughly. I'm not even that interested in it anymore. Bitcoin is above $30,000. No, I've been saying this with facing reality as well. Starting in about December, January, saying that I think the bottom is in. I think Bitcoin's going to start pushing up to 30K. And sure enough, we're here now. And I think 30, 40,000 is going to be the top before we dump in summer. But I think we have with ETH, Shanghai coming through, I think this is going to be a bullish event. I don't think this will be a sell the news event for a lot of reasons. Just thinking about the Mt. Gox FUD, right? We heard that for a month. Oh my God, the Mt. Gox coins are coming out. Rah, 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 rah. What happened? Absolutely nothing. It's all gone. It didn't affect the market one bit. And I don't think that people are going to just dump their staked ETH that they've had locked up for a couple of years and just take a loss on it. And this was an interesting article from Barron's here saying how Coinbase's stock should win in ETH Shanghai shakeup. This is the catch. Really interesting take right here from these guys. The most important upgrade to the ETH network since the merge will likely be completed on Wednesday. Will large stakers dump their new unlocked tokens? Will this create more confidence in staking and thus increase participation? I think so. I don't think people that bought ETH around 3-4K, locked it up for 2 years, are just going to dump it and take a loss, especially when all the chaos is happening with the banking system, with the dollar, allegedly. Crypto and Bitcoin, Ethereum are almost now safer than stocks. It's crazy to think, but the stock market, I think, is going to tank at some point in the next 6 months. Just a 50% drop, fall off a cliff overnight when no one's expecting it. I really do. I don't think this is going to be a sell the news event with Ethereum at all. You could see how much money is flowing into the DeFi protocols already. Lido, Rocket Pools, Anchor. People are finding DeFi. They're sick of the current system of holding your money hostage and telling you how things are going to work. This was really interesting that Twitter now is X, the everything app. And Elon, what does he want to do? He wants to create the WeChat for the United States. WeChat in China is the all-in-one app that they use, the most popular app that we don't have over here. And he's going to try to do that with payments included into Twitter. And it's happening already with Dogecoin. We saw the Dogecoin logo put into Twitter. And that was new. That I don't know where it was. I don't know how to find it anymore, but I know that this was a Dogecoin thing up here, and that's just bullish as hell for all of crypto. It's little signs of where this is going. We will have an all-in-one app, just like WeChat, where you'll have your digital ID that will log you in, and you'll be able to do everything, I think, with privacy, with some kind of anonymity. I just don't see the communist, track everything system. It's not gonna work. I was looking at this tweet right here. It was absolutely hilarious. Should pretty much prove to you that we are in clown world right here. All right. So the Investor Advisory Committee to the SEC, independents advising the SEC on policies to protect investors, recommends the SEC treat essentially all tokens as securities and pursue aggressive enforcement, and argues critically harms racial minorities. So we now have this. Literally is a take from this third party advisory crew to the SEC. I thought that Bitcoin and cross-border payments and Ripple's technology is going to help bank the unbanked. I don't know how this is now, harming racial minorities when all of what they're trying to do with better payments, unbanked to unbanked, that's the whole narrative, is to get people that don't have a say, that don't have a bank account, with their phone, they can now access the technology that we have. And then you come around and you have this take. It's just comical at this point. And it's like, I don't know how to even take these guys serious anymore. And just kind of sitting back this last week and looking at what was going on and realizing, the SEC has no authority to make laws, create laws. They can punish people for certain things they've done, which is what they're doing now, retroactively going back after people. And Tron, I believe, is one of the latest ones that is going to be sued from the SEC. I saw that. And it was taken down, I think, by Binance US on their website, which is really funny that Justin Sun is next. He's on the hit list. And what happened with Richard? The SEC came after hexagons, all the letters. I haven't heard a thing from it. No one took money. So what are they going to do? I hope nothing. And I really don't see a path that the SEC has against Hex. It's completely decentralized. Justin Sun, what he does with Tron is just copy anybody, see what you have. Oh yeah, it's open source. Bring it over here. He does nothing innovative at all, and I'm glad to see that the king of scammers, honestly, Justin Sun, will be gone. People like that need to go. They need to get washed out, in my opinion. What's up, Godfather J6? How you doing, my man? Lindsay the Hexagon, good morning. Good morning. Paul Sachs, what's up? How you doing, my man? Financial freedom for racial minorities is harmful. Exactly. The hypocrisy that is coming out now, you can't even make this stuff up anymore. I mean, everything that we saw, banking the unbanked, for the whole Ripple narrative, they're advertising all over Europe, all over the world, pretty much, for what they're about to roll out. But it's so funny what the media does here to try to destroy the average retail person. It really is a shame. And at the same time, Maple Finance to launch U.S. Treasury liquidity pool. So now if you're an accredited investor and you're outside the United States, you can take your money and invest it into U.S. Treasury bonds. Perfect. And they're going to be on the blockchain. So this is where we're going, guys. An all-in-one stop. Everything's going to be tokenized and put on the blockchain, from bonds to stocks, everything. It's all coming really fast. And the pipe works just need to be laid. The framework has to be laid out. And that's what's being built right now. All of the institutions, JP Morgan, Fidelity, all of these guys are going to allow us to use crypto in their platforms. They just have to build out the infrastructure. They can't let retail go running around and do this ahead of them. The banks have to set a precedent, let you guys know it's safe, and then from there it can roll out to retail. But we have the opportunity to front run this stuff and make money off of how stupid traditional finances and these Wall Street egos that come into crypto and get wrecked over and over and over again. And we're going to continue to see it. And I don't think anything will change. We are so far ahead in the Hex community and in people that understand true DeFi and where we are. I mean, we're years ahead. We're now just hearing not your keys, not your crypto from the SEC, from big players. That was, heard on every one of Richard's streams for the last 3-4 years. So, the main thing that I wanted to talk about today is I've been covering it a lot, the whole brick stuff, the gold-backed currencies, how much gold that the central banks have been accumulating in China, in Brazil, in India. And I really thought that they're gonna come together and put out their new currency. And I really thought it was gonna overtake the dollar, but just kind of being on vacation and just sitting back and thinking about OPEC and how just the world works right now. Without the United States, everything collapses. We are basically the security blanket for the world. Every nation, the United Nations, we are the primary funders, the United States. So when there's a disaster around the world, or there's a hurricane, or some kind of horrible thing, the United States and the UN is there to give them money. The IMF is funded, I think, almost 35% by the United States of America. So that just shows you that we are such hypocrites, right? We will start World War III before we lose the petrodollar. We have so much oil in the Gulf of Mexico, in North Dakota, the Alaskan pipeline that Biden shut down. If we crank that back on and put tariffs on all these OPEC countries that are now settling in the new R5 ruble or R5 currency, they're done. It's not sustainable. So all this fear porn that I'm seeing, it's like, I don't know how I let it overtake common sense, if that makes any sense. I think we're going to see a new election in the next year. New politicians come in, and I think Joe Biden's whole agenda was to stall everything right now. We couldn't come out and stifle innovation here in the United States. We have to kind of play bad guy, but also not destroy innovation. And I think with a new change of administration will come a new change in laws. Fidelity, they're rolling out their crypto platforms for institutions. Hex Trust with Hedera and Clearpool, all the institutional staking that they're rolling out for their 39 governing council members for Hedera. All of them are going to be using staking. This article here talks about how all these institutions are going to be staking their ETH and getting the 4.5%. And that's what these companies are going to do. These banks, if they can get 6.5% on their Hedera without having to do anything, and then can sell you a derivative of it and take a fee on that, it's a win-win. And that's how I think this is going to end up settling out, is that all the institutions, these brokerage companies, are going to have their platforms that you can use, but they will be interoperable with MetaMask, and we'll be able to come in and out and use them. Once we have our official, KYC online digital ID that all your accounts are tied to, whether it's your driver's license, social security number. I'm not sure exactly how it's going to work, but we need a digital ID that verifies us, so we don't have to manually KYC into every single site. It's just not sustainable. It's not good for growth. People don't want to have to do that. Have 50 different passwords for all the different sites. We need, it's all coming. Hedera is doing so much with digital IDs, with decentralized recovery, with seed phrases. In the next year or two, so much is going to happen. It's why being here now and not selling out of your bags and, hearing FOMO like we're hearing now about all the BRICS nations, it's all FUD to get you to sell your bags. The same pretty much people control the media. I think there's 5 or 6 corporations that control all of the media. So I don't believe any of this stuff anymore. I'm now going to Twitter pretty much for my information. All the mainstream media, they're all biased. They all have an agenda to serve. And there's no honest media anymore. And they're losing the battle to Twitter. Elon was on yesterday with the BBC, and the BBC, I mean, they're the biggest media in Europe, in Great Britain, in the UK. And this guy was on there and says, "Oh, Elon, my Twitter feed has just been so hateful lately. I can't even look at it." And Elon was like, "Give me give me an example." And the guy stuttered and fumbled and couldn't come up with one example. And this is the BBC, the biggest media company over there. And they look like clowns. And Elon is just sitting here saying that this is unbelievable, that you're sitting here telling me all this stuff's happening, but you can't provide one piece of information to back that up. The clown world is collapsing right now in front of our face. This stuff is not sustainable. I mean, the Investor Advisory Committee to the SEC argues crypto harms racial minorities. Like, this has to be an absolute joke. The IEC did not engage with minority investors or representatives for its opinion. Professor Evans said it best in her testimony to Congress on 3/9. Communities of color may miss another wealth building opportunity if excluded from crypto under the guise of protection. So where is this going, guys? It's such an absolute joke that I honestly don't even want to pay attention to this stuff anymore. I think it's so bad, and it just sucks all of your energy out of you. And it gets you detached from stuff that matters, stuff that is going to actually help your life. And I'm really starting to just tone out and just start to kind of do our own thing inside of our community. We're so far ahead here. We've been talking about this for months. If you go back and watch my streams, I've been talking how Bitcoin is going to push. We are ready to move up. Everyone was talking about 11K or 10K and pray. And I was saying there's no way in hell we're going there. We're going to push up to 20K soon. And sure enough, we did. And then we pushed up to 30, just like I said we were going to do by April or May. This is happening faster than I thought, which is good. That's a great sign, in my opinion, that all of the negative news is no longer affecting the price. It's no longer driving down markets for 3 weeks. We're not having these nasty just downtrends where nothing happens. These dips are getting bought and back in 3-4 days now. None of this bad news is affecting the markets. I mean, CPI numbers came out today, and 5%, even it's bullish. Either way, it's bullish for Bitcoin. Inflation goes up, good for Bitcoin. Jobs go up. Everything is good for Bitcoin. It's so bad. And even Solana, I've been talking about that since it dropped down to $10. That Solana is not dead. I'm so bullish on Solana, and I still am. I hold a bag of it in my iTrust IRA, and I load it up when that SBF dip happened right here. And if you just looked on chain at all the metrics and realized how many people are still using it, and it was still active and it was all FUD, you could see through it. And I hope that people did buy some Solana back under $10. I think Solana right now, it just broke its trend again, and we could be looking at a $40 Solana right here, in my opinion. And so, I don't know. I don't want to brag about it, but it's like I've been in this market now every day for 4 years. We nailed so many of the cryptos last cycle. We found Hex. I sacrificed for the OA for Hex, the adoption amplifier, the AA, and I got hacked. My wallet is gone, hacked. So I was so early. I saw the writing on the wall, saw DeFi blossom and bloom because of Hex. Hex created DeFi. And now with this Shanghai upgrade coming, this is bullish as hell for ETH. I would be shocked if it tanks in the next month or two. Bitcoin will top out, and then the markets will come down. But ETH still has its run. And after ETH runs, then the alts run. And all this liquid staking is so bullish for Hex. Once people in the last 3-4 months, everyone that's been waiting for their ETH to come off, that's been stuck, has been looking at DeFi, has been looking into liquid staking. I promise you, that money is going to flow into these protocols. People are not, if you had the money to put up 32 ETH at 3 or 4K, you're not going to dump it at 2K. You're going to lock it up and wait. We are at the start of a bull market. Of course, there's going to be some people that dump, but I think this is going to be so bullish for all of crypto. And DeFi and Hex too, especially. People will inevitably find Hex that come into DeFi staking protocols. It's just impossible that they won't. Whoa, top 400. We're not that big of DGens. So, all right, Tron, perfect. Dumping, getting delisted on Binance. Love to see that. Get all these shit coins out of here. All these scammers out of here. Binance, right here it is. Sorry. Binance US stated TRX did not meet its standard of excellence after it conducted a routine token review. So they're coming after Justin Sun hard. How good is this for us, for Hexicans? Richard, Justin Sun, who's the known scammer? It's so obvious. Like, we don't even have to argue this. Someone's done everything by the book. Someone is just a copy and paste and come over here. We'll take your technology and steal it from you and launch it over here. I mean, it just pisses me off. But, our time will come. Our time will come. And just be patient, guys. Do not sell out of your bags. Even Texan, I thought Texan would pump a little more, but it didn't. So you know what this is? An opportunity to accumulate more. If you really believe in something, you double down on it. I was buying all the way up to about 3,000. And then I bought one bag. I swapped some more Hex for up at about 5,000. And now I'm going to come back and buy more now. It's just another opportunity. I see the writing on the wall for Texan. How many people are behind the whole movement with the Texas nationalist movement? I think it's the third biggest party on the ballot now, if I'm not mistaken. So shout out Rags and Crypto Heartbeat. You guys are crushing. And I'm going to, load up, buy another bag for sure. And, this is the opportunity right now. Even Zen and DB Zen. I've been bullish on Zen. I don't care. In my opinion, I think Zen's going to do well. I minted my first 100-day bag. I made an $80 profit on it. I sold it. And with that $80, I bought back 8 times the bag. So I played it to my advantage. I built up a bag of Zen, and I actually swapped some Hex out for it before this last pump last week, right before we went on vacation. And I knew it was going to come back down, but I bought it for one reason, to burn for DB Zen. So I bought like 30 DB Zen at the bottom at like $35 right after the 10 o'clock dip. And I staked 12 of them just to see how it worked. So, and to do that, I burned 10 batches, which was 0.06 ETH. And this was like 6 days ago. And now I've already earned 0.02 back. So I've earned almost a third of the ETH I burned. And then I have now the DXN, 1.5 of them to claim. And it's worth like $65 a coin right now. And this thing is so easy to trade on it. This is the easiest swing trading coin in my life. Every day at 10 o'clock rolls over. That's it. Every day. It's the easiest thing. So if you can spot this, I mean, the FUD on Zen is hilarious, but I don't care. I'm in this to make money. I know what coins have potential in them. I know what doesn't. I can see the trends coming. And Zen, I get it. There's a lot of, Phoenix and Exelon and all these things. But at the end of the day, Zen is going to be deflationary in a couple years. Yes, a lot is going to come out right now, but that's when right now, if you think that's going to happen, you burn it for DB Zen and do batches while gas is low. Or you can burn it for the Exelon, for the meme coin. And you can trade them back and forth, Exelon and DXN. They move exactly and pretty much in unison. So there's so much opportunity right now in this bear market and it's, oh my God, we haven't even gotten into Pulse Chain yet and everything that's coming there. It's just, man, I wonder if Sauce is on here. No. So yeah, Saucer Swap. Even on the DeFi protocol on Hedera, right? I'm so bullish on them. I was in the pre-sale early. It did a 2.5x, which was expected. It didn't go crazy, and this thing has bottomed out. We are I think we're ready to rock and roll. This is the premier DEX on Hedera. Staking is at like 15%. Right around 15%. Awesome interface, clean. They just passed 150 million in volume. I mean, they're so new. They're in their infancy. I was in from day one in the pre-sale. The team is fantastic. They are community driven. They're an open book, and they do stuff for the community. Their staking is amazing. And what's coming soon, if you have the NFTs, it just gives you a bonus for your staking boost. You earn rewards instead of a buy and burn. You basically earn a percentage of the fees. So it's not quite as good as PulseX, but it's very similar. And it's down now to 2 cents with 15% staking. Like, these are the opportunities that you hit home runs on when the bull market really starts to pump. And I think Bitcoin had its run. Everything still runs around off of Bitcoin. If Bitcoin stalls out and we can't push up to 40K, ETH will have its run. ETH should push up, and then alt should push up. It's a cycle. Bitcoin, Ethereum, like the L1, Solana, AVAX, Cardano, those are next to start pumping if ETH starts to go. And Solana, just like I said, just broke its trend, could start to move up, but you got to play it day by day. This is a long-term game. I was really, really fudded out by this whole OPEC stuff, really getting worried the dollar was going to collapse, but the dollar is the king of the world. If these OPEC countries, when OPEC was signed, it was so these oil producing countries could produce all their oil and we didn't have to, but they were going to settle in dollars. So we got all the benefit. They were settling in our currency, but we didn't have to go through the rigorous process of producing all of it. So we are the biggest consumers of oil in the world, I would say. And the petrodollar is needed for stability. Could you imagine doing cross-border payments or buying oil with a communist digital yuan? That's never going to happen. I don't think. And we are, who is China's number one debt holder or creditor? The United States. China owns the most of our debt than any country. So if the dollar goes down, China goes down. All these countries go down. The United States, we are like the safety net for the world. If this really happens, if all these countries start to do this and band together, if we pull out of the UN, if we pull out of the IMF, and we start producing oil and pulling it out of the Gulf, pulling it out of the pipeline that Biden shut down, we are the biggest consumers of oil. We cripple all those countries. So I don't see this happening. I think the dollar, yes, it's losing strength because of inflation, but all the other currencies are losing strength way faster. So we're going to be the last remaining straw regardless. So I just don't see that happening. If these guys try to settle outside the dollar, we're going to just sanction the hell out of them and put tariffs on them like crazy and say, all right, you're not settling in dollars anymore. Fine. We're no longer buying oil from you. So there goes half of their oil sales. It's going to cripple everything. So we still are in control of all of this. We control everything. I think we will start World War III before we let China and the digital yuan start settling around the world. We create wars everywhere for the piteous things. You don't think for the petrodollar and all that power, we wouldn't start a war? That's the thing that I kind of was, I guess, I don't even know what the word for it is. At the end of the day, we do what we want. We control the world. We run shit. And we will do what we need to do to maintain power, period. The media is controlled by a handful of corporations. Twitter is now where all of the news is, unbiased, real news, in my opinion. And Elon is creating X. So all of this stuff is starting to take shape where we'll have our own WeChat, I believe, type app with Twitter that is, I don't know, not decentralized, but it's unfiltered and it's allowed to be uncensored. And I really hope that happens. You know, Elon has the power, I think, to break the banking system. That's what this is all about right now, is control. Everything right now is about control. And they're not going to let Facebook and Mark Zuckerberg with Libra come in and uproot their system with his little jackass self. Not happening. But Elon might have the ability to pull this off if he strategically does it the right way. But, you know, this is where we are. If you're here now, that you are in the right place. This bull market, I think, is going to be 2017 on steroids. I really do. All these cryptos, XRP, XLM, that didn't make new all-time highs this last cycle are going to crush this cycle, in my opinion. You know, a lot of these coins had inflation problems, massive inflation problems. That's a lot of the reason why XRP didn't really pump, because the inflation was insane. And even with HBAR, the inflation is so bad over this next year or two. But this is opportunity for me. I understand that these coins are inflating now, but once the supply shock comes, and it is inevitable, there will be a supply shock with Bitcoin, with Ethereum, even with Hex or Pulse and Pulse X. Once these deflationary coins are running for 5-10 years, man, I just can't wait to see what this looks like in the future. The fact that we're here now, we're going to be banks in the future. If you own these blue chip cryptos, you're going to be able to be a bank. Everybody's going to want them. You know, owning stocks right now, you know, Microsoft, IBM, Tesla stock, all of that is going to be tokenized and put on the blockchain. So the younger generation, kids now, they're not going to know the difference between a stock or a blue chip crypto. They're both going to be tokenized, basically companies on the blockchain. You know, the next generation of kids are never going to walk into a bank and open an account. Everything's going to be done on their cell phones. And that's like 5 years from now. So you got to think like long term. And then seeing how Fidelity is incorporating Bitcoin into their IRAs and their 401ks. They're opening up crypto brokerage accounts for businesses, not retail, for businesses, for them to conduct crypto transactions under their umbrella. And now they are building out interoperability with MetaMask Institutional, with the platforms they're building. They want to have interoperability with cold storage wallets and stuff we use. That's the biggest problem now, and it will be solved. You know, we're not going to have walled off gardens. We will be able to, if you have a bag of Ethereum and you want to buy some real estate in New York City or whatever it is in the future, you'll be able to bridge that in as long as you can prove pretty much where it came from or if you paid tax on it. I think it's the same. It's going to be the same type thing as it is now, except it's going to be, I don't know how they're going to do taxes, whether you're going to have to just put your addresses through these tax generators. I don't know. I hope that doesn't happen, but I feel like it's inevitable because if I had to go back and look at all my transactions I've ever made, it's basically impossible. I have to ballpark guess. And, you know, I'm not going to put my accounts into these third-party TurboTax systems. I'm just not doing it. So once there's privacy but decentralization, that's when mass adoption is going to come. And we are right on the cusp of it. You know, the dollar, yes, it's going down, but it's not going to collapse. If the dollar collapses, the world collapses behind it. It's the other way around. All these other countries collapse and then fall victim and get sucked up by the bigger countries. You know, the IMF, their game is to loan money to countries that they know will never pay, they can never pay back. And then boom, they own them. You know, the IMF is the biggest racket, in my opinion. All they do is get countries in debt. It's disgusting. And the United States is 35% of the backing we front the bill for. The same thing with the United Nations. If anyone tries to do anything stupid and we pull out of the UN, Russia invades Ukraine, Russia invades whoever they want, China goes after Taiwan with no repercussions, the whole world goes into chaos. So, there's a big problem for the world if they start to come against us. We control everything right now. It's just the way it is. And it's unfortunate for other countries. But do you want the United States to control everything, or do you want a combination of Russia and China and Putin and Xi controlling everything? Those are your options. And I'm much more comfortable with the United States controlling everything the way it is right now. And yes, these third world countries, Africa and South America, that are ripe with all these resources, they're going to start building up, and they're going to be the next booming markets of the world. And it's inevitable. And I think crypto and blockchain and all this technology will help facilitate that use and facilitate not getting taken advantage of like in the past. If your natural resources, you'll be able to protect them and not just get taken advantage of like they have been forever. But, we'll see. We will see. There's an interesting article here about just talking about NFTs and how 75% of NFT investors, their NFTs actually have utility. So just that whole notion of JPEGs, worthless, pictures on the blockchain, it really is, I think, changing right now. Utility is coming with NFTs. When I went to the Charlotte Hornets game, my ticket was an NFT. I still have it on my phone. I can show it off forever. So there is a lot of utility with it. And I really think that it's going to change a lot in the next year or two. And this stuff like this too, Hong Kong right here. This right here is why the United States we can't fall behind. Hong Kong just legalized crypto for retail, and their virtual bank plans start to providing account services for licensed crypto exchanges. While banks in the major economies across the globe, including the UK and the US, continue to keep away from crypto clients, Hong Kong's largest virtual bank, ZA Bank, is going against the trend and announced that it will support crypto to fiat conversions for crypto exchanges in the city. So we're going to either lose all this to China, Singapore, Dubai, London, or we can have it happen here. And I don't think the first is going to happen. I think that we're going to see a shift in administration. A new change will come in. They'll blame everything on the Biden administration. It was the Democrats' fault. They ran it into the ground. Rah, rah, rah. We can fix all of this. Get rid of CBDCs, introduce crypto, and that, just like that, everything is good to go. All of the infrastructure is being built out right now. All the institutions are building it out. Staking from the Hex Trust. I mean, I haven't looked at this in a while. Let's see if they've added anything new in the last week for their, they've changed all this. Wow. Where's the DeFi and staking protocol? Wow. All right. So they did change this already. Products, Hex Safe. All right. So, but this is exactly my point right here, is this is being, every week, this is getting changed, rolled out, new stuff happening for institutions, for major companies around the world. They have all these options to now stake with, and it's too risky for retail. It just doesn't make sense right here at all. I see what's happening, the writing on the wall. They need to build this out for the institutions. The banks need to have their staking protocols up and running, so us as retail can look and say, yes, that is not risky. We're not going to get our money stolen. We're not going to get hacked. So now we can take part. And what's going to happen is the banks are going to own all of these cryptos. They're going to own the blue chip coins, and we're going to be sold derivatives of them, just like paper gold, just like paper silver, just like Grayscale's doing with their Grayscale GBTC. It's the same thing. You don't actually own Bitcoin with that. So that's where this is trying to go. is they're going to own all of the cryptos and sell us back derivatives. And we can front run that by hodling strong, not getting fudded out, recognizing which cryptos are the blue chip coins that are going to be around for the next 20, 30, 40 years. Bitcoin's 15 years old, and I don't see it going anywhere in the next 15 years. So that's 30 years. So if we can get in day one from these, first cycle of these blue chip coins in 20, 30, 40 years from now, I mean, this is generational type wealth we're talking about right now. The amount of people that are here right now that have this opportunity and see it and get it are so few and far between. And the ones that take advantage of it, you're going to set your families up for generations if you do this right. I mean, with Pulse Chain coming, with Pulse X coming, if you're one of the, original sacrificers, all the airdrops that are going to come, I mean, it's going to be unbelievable. But there are so many other projects, even outside of the Richard Heart ecosystem, that I'm so bullish on that are going to be here forever. Flare, if you don't know, they redid how they're doing their Flare drops, their distribution. You can now take a bag of Flare and delegate it in the Bitfrost wallet, and you will get to take part in the Flare drops every single month. You're going to get 10x your bag over the next 36 months. I had 8,000 coins in my bag. It was nothing. I had a couple $100 worth, and I got my airdrop last month. It was almost 1,800 coins. And then I just took them, delegated them, and next airdrop, I'm going to get that percentage on my almost 10,000 coins now. So it's not too late. You can still stake your Flare and qualify for the drops. There's 35 more. Even if you do it now and you miss this next one, you'll still have 34 more airdrops of free coins. And these coins are already accounted for in the circulating supply. It's not just inflation that's coming out. They are already built in. So don't listen to the FUD that Flare is just this inflationary coin, rah, rah, rah. No, it's not. Flare is going to be the heart of DeFi, in my opinion. For bigger companies, for institutions, what Flare is doing is unbelievable. I'm so bullish on them, and we have the opportunity right now to get in, to buy a bag at 3 cents, delegate it, and get 10 times your bag over the next 3 years for free, for doing nothing. I mean, what's that going to be like in 20 years from now if Flare succeeds? If Hedera succeeds in 20 years, and right now we're staking on Stater Labs getting 9.5%. In 20 years, what's this coin going to be like? Once XLM, they already are MoneyGram. Once the entire world realizes Stellar is MoneyGram and vice versa, and you can buy into Stellar for 10 cents, what's that going to be like in 5-10 years from now? These opportunities. That's how I look at it. Algorand, massive inflation problem right now. It's why we can't pump. But once the inflation is gone, Algorand is at the heart of what's going on with a lot of building with Web3 right now. So they're even, rocket pools, Lido, Frac shares for liquid staking for the next couple years. Super bullish on Hex, real DeFi. I mean, the writing is just on the wall for me. I see where it's going. I've never been more confident in where it's going. The FUD is no longer getting to me. America is the king of the world. It's not going to change. And we will start World War III before we let the petrodollar or the G5 currency or the digital yuan be the major settlement rails. The second one of these OPEC countries tries to settle outside the dollar, bam, sanctions. Let's see them overcome that. And worst case scenario, we just start mining our own oil. We have enough in our own United States, in North Dakota, in the Midwest to run for hundreds of years. That doesn't even include Alaska or the Gulf. So we have enough oil. We just didn't want to to drill for it. It's easier to let these guys do it and make them settle in dollars. But if they're not going to, all right, we'll just do it. We'll cut you off. We're the biggest consumers of oil, and you guys will just suffer for it. And that's what I think will happen. So I don't see the dollar being replaced. I don't see the dollar being collapsing. I don't see the dollar or us getting our dollars taken out of our bank accounts because of a bank run. No, the banks are just going to go straight to the Fed's tit. So there's going to be no in between. Our banking system is pretty much being nationalized. There's going to be 5 or 10 banks that are directly on the Fed's tit that are guaranteed 24/7, and they're going to be using Silicon Valley Bank, their Signet, that technology, that their settlement rails, the 24/7 layer that is running right now still for all the exchanges. Somehow the Fed is going to just get their hands on it. I'm not sure how it's going to work, but they now, the Fed and the Treasury control all the crypto exchanges technology. Everything that Signature Bank and Silicon Valley Bank were doing, the Fed now owns all that technology. And I think Bridge Bank was the name of the bank that they created to filter all this technology over to. So I wouldn't be surprised if all of a sudden we saw Bridge Bank, the new crypto-friendly bank, here to save everyone. And nobody realizes it's the Federal Reserve and the government behind it. It's just the technology they seized from Silicon Valley and Signature Bank because they were too risky buying up bonds like business as usual, and they got out of control. But JP Morgan, they're 100 times more over leveraged. They have $100 trillion in liabilities, and they could pay back, I think, maximum 2% of that. So it just makes you sit back and wonder. So I no longer pay attention to it. They didn't shut it down, the clearinghouse. All of the crypto exchanges are still up and running. So the government just wants control. That's what all this is about, control. And the United States is the world leader, and I don't think it's going to change, in my opinion. We will start World War III before we lose what we have right now. So that's all I got for today. That was my rant. John May, India, Vietnam, Mexico are going to boom soon. We'll see everything made from there, not China. Yeah, we're seeing it now. A lot of stuff is already Sri Lanka and these other countries. The real power of the U.S. dollar is exactly 100%, Bobby Hexelrod. The U.S. dollar, it is what it is because we have our military force that can back it. If anyone gets out of line, our military will set that straight. The United Nations, they have the United States military in their back pocket as a safety net. If Russia does anything, if China does anything, what do? We sanction them, we cut them off, we cripple them. So I just don't see a world where these other countries can survive without us, without our safety net, without our sense of security, without us providing stability around the world. Could you imagine what Putin and Xi allowed to control all settlement? A communist country, you can't allow that. I just don't see it happening. So that's all I got for today. Appreciate you guys stopping in, and we will see you tomorrow morning.
At Vibra Finance, we seek out the hidden gems in cryptocurrency. We will tailor your portfolio to work for you. Are you ready to transition your investments from traditional markets to cryptocurrency? Are your coins staked and earning interest? Are you overwhelmed with all the jargon in crypto? Is your portfolio underperforming and you want to reposition into consistent winning blue chip coins and viable projects? Do you feel like you missed out on DeFi, Metaverse, and NFTs? Here at Vibra Finance, we provide you with the data, skills, and tools you need to stay on top of the digital asset market. Vibra Finance, we are the future of crypto.